I have guests with me, and I don't want to keep them for too long because one of them has been up since 4:30 this morning. I feel like I should still call you Sylvie Geal-Wilkes, but obviously, am I allowed to call you Sylvie now?
Oh, totally.
Okay,
yes.
because we were both at Ballacameen at the same time. You just started teaching there. Already, you are retiring. It seems like it was only yesterday that we were walking down the corridors. But you are retiring, Sylvie. So just tell us a little bit about you, because you've worked at many different schools, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I had a year in England, and I was, as part of my degree, I had to teach in the UK first, and it was Leicester University. So Leicester University, then I taught in Buckinghamshire, and obviously there were a few placements on teaching practice, and then I was very lucky to have a sabbatical in Italy during which I taught. Two schools in the Isle of Man, though, the main ones. Yes.
Oh, and so it must be sort of mixed feelings now. So obviously
totally.
It's been a wonderful career by the sound of things, but it's, you have decided now's the time. Yeah.
Yes. I think the other day you were mentioning the Pink Floyd song, "A Teacher Leave the Kids Alone," and I feel perhaps I've reached that stage. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's an interesting thing, really, because you are starting this or doing this challenge at the minute to raise funds for Alzheimer's Research UK, and this has come about because you're retiring and because you say on your page it sort of had you reflecting and reminiscing about people and one person in particular.
Yes. We're talking about Hugo Tams, who sadly was diagnosed with Alzheimer 9 years ago.
2014, yes.
Yeah, 2014. And I felt that schools are such a machine that we worried about replacing him, having someone in front of the kids, but we didn't have time to really honour the colleague, the friend he had been to all of us. And I thought, I can't leave teaching without doing that first. So,
and you describe him so beautifully on your page.
He is a gorgeous, gorgeous man. Yes.
And we're very fortunate to have Nicky Merritt with us. I mean, Nicky, this is your husband that we're talking about here. And obviously you're a teacher as well.
I was
a teacher as well, yeah. And so, I mean, tell us a bit about Hugo then.
Hugo was just the most amazing man. Several people have said to me over the years, he's the most intelligent man they ever met. He spoke several languages. When he got into computers, he would strip them and rebuild them, and people rang them to fix their computers, and got into photography. He was so compassionate, and in the later stages of his dementia, I had to stop him watching the news because it would upset him so much that he couldn't help. Just amazing, and he loved me utterly. He still does. Mostly he knows who I am. Not this morning, he was on one this morning. But usually he kind of knows who I am. He was just brilliant dad to our two girls. And very, very funny. And fast football. Oh my gosh, yes.
and you mentioned Sylvie on your page, on your fundraising page. He is still very funny when you go visit, because you visit him regularly, don't you?
Well, not as regularly as we'd like, but we do visit. Yes, yeah. And he'll still have a smile. He'll still giggle at something you show him, and it's absolutely great. Yes, yeah.
And we mentioned we brought you in because actually we had a message from someone on Teachers' Day earlier this week. So happy early Teachers' Day, about the fact you're doing this challenge. And as I mentioned, you got up at 4:30 this morning as part of this fundraising and this challenge because you have a mission to raise a certain amount of money for a very important charity, don't you?
Yes, Alzheimer's Research. Yes, I would very much like us to honour him in that way, but also, honour anyone who is in that situation, the carers especially, who are very brave, resilient people, having to, but they are. And yes, remember the man we all loved. Yes.
And this is meant to be a time, we said you're retiring, this is meant to be a time for you calming down and slowing down, but that's not what you're doing. So tell us about some of the challenges that you're taking on. So
mostly I'm walking. I am inevitably going to do a stretch of the parish because you have to, and I never have so far. I've done the Harbour to Harbour walk last weekend. This morning I walked I think it's 11 kilometers from home to school. And I have translated a novel that is going to be published very soon. I'm waiting for the copies from Italy. And every copy sold, £3 out of every copy will go towards Alzheimer's research.
This is fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, well done on all of it so far, and all the bits to come. And Nicky, this must mean so much to you.
Oh, it does, Christy, it really does. I mean, when I first read Sylvie's page, because she hadn't warned me, it did make me cry. Because generally over this, it's a long time really since Hugo was the way he was. You don't dwell on the past. You make the most of every day and what we have. And, I'm very lucky to still be able to visit him, and he's doing really well. But I was incredibly touched and to do this, because dementia really is a bit of a Cinderella service in terms of research, and Alzheimer's Research UK funds projects into research for all different kinds of dementia, not just Alzheimer's, and that's quite important to remember, because there are lots of people on the island with different kinds of dementia.
Mm-hmm. And so this money will be put to very, very good use indeed. And of course, whatever research is done, we benefit from here on the Isle of Man. So it's really crucial. Sylvie, how can people support you, and how can they follow your progress in your challenges?
So they can go on the GoFundMe page, which I hope you'll publish. They can find me at school. We have cash boxes as well at school.
What do the students think about what you're doing?
The students so far are not involved. I am thinking of involving them later on,
just to warn them.
Yes. But it's mostly staff, and we've got quite a few teachers who used to be taught by Hugo. They've come back to school to teach, but they used to be Hugo's pupils. So they've donated extremely generously too. So it's all going well so far. Yes.
Well, you're not too far off your total, but we want to absolutely smash that total, don't we?
We do.
So we will post the link, the Just Giving link, after the show. We'll post a little video of us chatting as well, and I'll put the link on there so you can support them. It is wonderful what you're doing, and it's so lovely to catch up with you both. And I do feel like I've had to sit up a little bit straighter, just sitting opposite you. Once you have finished this challenge, how are you going to spend your retirement, Sylvie? Have you got plans?
The usual thing: travel, read more, spend time with my actual family, stop neglecting my husband.
Learn the flute.
Yes.
Learn the flute.
Yes.
I mean, that's something to do. That could be part of the challenge, I'm sure.
Yes,
well, listen, all the very best with all of it, especially the challenge. And do give our love to Hugo, won't you, Nicky? It's an absolute joy speaking with you both.